What's up, everybody, and welcome to In Love with Horror, your destination for all things horror. And this is your end of the week horror news update. And in this update, we'll be discussing Amazon has canceled another horror show. Giancarlo Esposito is being cast in a film being directed by Spielberg's daughter. And the answer to the question, will The Nightmare Before Christmas get a reboot, is answered on this video. Stay tuned. So in our first story, the series Harlan Coben Shelter is getting canceled over on Amazon Prime. Now, we had just talked about the horror of Dolores Roach getting canceled, and here we got another horror thriller on Amazon Prime being canceled. I don't know what's going on Amazon, but damn. Mm-hmm. So if you're not familiar with this series, it's based on the first novel in Coben's Mickey, was it Bolitar trilogy? It follows the story of Mickey Bolitar after the sudden death of his father leads him to start a new life in Castleton, New Jersey. Mickey quickly finds himself tangled in the mysterious disappearance of a new student at his school, Ashley Kent, which leads to uncovering unimaginable secrets within their quiet suburban community. Now, I personally haven't watched this. I don't think you've watched it either, but I know
put it on my watch list. I was ready, waiting for a good time to start it. So sad that it didn't get renewed.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of but it makes me think of this situation where, because a lot of shows get canceled after the first season on these streaming platforms, right? So then you get faced with the dilemma of well, damn, do I watch this?
I know.
Do I watch this first season at all? Because you're gonna, especially if you end up liking it
and get invested,
and you're now I'm gonna be disappointed because there's gonna be no continuance of this character, this story.
That's true.
Whatever. So it's kind of an awkward dilemma because I think about shows like Archive 81.
I wish we had known.
That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. If let's say right now we've never seen it, knowing that there's no continuation, I
probably wouldn't.
Why watch it? Why disappoint ourselves with the cliffhanger and all that stuff, and go through a series? It's kind of tough, but and like I mentioned at the top of the story, it's joining the horror of Dolores Roach, which also recently got canceled, and I kind of wonder if it's just sheerly a numbers game, right? Mm-hmm. Is it sheerly just a case of, okay, there's not enough people tuned into this. There's not enough, discussion about it online.
That's possible.
Right. There's not enough, talk going on. So I kind of wonder, what's the metric? And for these shows that they're creating, right? I would assume that each show has got its own metric because I'm sure they understand, okay, some shows will be more popular than others. So I kind of wonder what metric are they giving these shows like Horror Dolores Roach, Harlan Coben's Shelter? What metric did they get to be if it reaches this point, or this popularity point, or this streaming number count, it'll get a second season. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm curious to know kind of what those decision points are per streaming platform, because I feel like Amazon right now is kind of pulling like a Netflix. A lot, yeah. Because Netflix is good for canceling a lot of their shows, so I feel like Amazon's kind of going down that path too, where it's just oh, nope, that's done. Let's go on to something else. It's not popular enough. Let's go on to something else. But I don't know. This is it's kind of, like I said, we've never seen the show, but I'm sure a lot of fans are disappointed about this. Yeah. So overall, it's disappointing. You never want to see a project get canceled. Right. But is there anything else you wanted to add for this story? Well, let us know down in the comments, y'all. If you watched this series, did you think it was good? Do you think that it was worthy of, a second season? What do you think could have caused Amazon to take this off of the or cancel it after the first season? Is it sheerly just a numbers game? Is there something else going on? Let us know all that down in the comments below. Now, in our second story, y'all, it's all about Giancarlo Esposito appearing in an upcoming Destry Allyn Spielberg film. Now, Giancarlo Esposito is being cast in a role in the upcoming film Please Don't Feed the Children, which will be the feature directorial debut of Destry Allyn Spielberg, the daughter of Steven Spielberg. He's joining Michelle Dockery from Downton Abbey and a host of others in what is being called a horror thriller. Now, the synopsis for this film reads, after a viral outbreak ravages the country's adult population, a group of orphans head south in search of a new life, only to find themselves at the mercy of a deranged woman harboring a dangerous secret. Now, obviously, just for the sheer reason that it's, a Spielberg directing
big shoes to fill.
She got big shoes to fill. And
having he got a repertoire of films. It's not even a little bit.
He a legend. I mean, Spielberg is legendary.
Huge shoes.
He's got nothing but hits on his list of films that he's worked on. And like you said, big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
I'm sure that she's probably learned a lot from her dad.
Oh, I
just
can
being
imagine.
in that life.
Yeah.
Right. The first example that comes to my mind about like the talent of a parent going to a child would be Stephen King's son. He goes by the name the writer named Joe Hill.
Yeah.
Like, his dad wrote horror novels.
Right.
Now he writes horror novels that are big hits because they've had shows, and I don't know if they've had movies. I know series for sure produced out of them, and they do numbers. So like that's the first thing that comes to my mind about talent being passed through,
right?
From the parent to the kid. So I'm sure that she's being in this life, being around her dad. Probably his love of film. I'm sure that like that's all they talk about. In their household. This adoration and love of cinema. So I can only imagine that that with the support of her dad, she'll probably do a really good job.
I'm anticipating for her to do a good job.
And for it to be a like horror thriller film on your directorial debut, that's
really cool.
Good. And I think that I always think horror is a good opportunity to like ease into filmmaking because you can do a lot with the little.
Yeah.
With the lower budget, with I feel like typically horror stories can be a little bit more straightforward, but can also be creative. But it doesn't have to become like a tangled mess. It's something you can really work with and meld and create something special without it being like too crazy in terms of what's needed to create your vision. You can do a lot with the little. So I think it's cool that it's going to be a horror thriller. Like I said, there's not really any more information in this. There's a lot of cast that's already been announced besides Giancarlo Esposito. Yeah. So go check out that list of cast members because there's already quite a bit that are involved in this. I don't think there's any information on shooting schedule or production timeline or anything like that. But we will, of course, keep y'all updated as more comes out for this film and this story. So let us know down in the comments below, how excited are you for Please Don't Feed the Children? And, how do you think she will do on her, directorial debut? I didn't check when we were recording this if she's done other things like shorts or anything.
I didn't see anything myself, so I'm not sure.
So if she has done something and we just don't know about it, let us know in the comments too. There's work that she already has that we can go and check out and kind of, use that as a point of reference to be like, okay, like, hey, like, she got the chops to be like her dad. Now, for our last story, y'all, if you are wondering if The Nightmare Before Christmas will get a reboot, the answer is basically hell no. So, of course, it's the 30th year anniversary of The Nightmare Before Christmas. And Empire did an interview with its creator, Tim Burton. Now, in this interview, Burton told Empire that he doesn't want more Nightmare Before Christmas movies of any kind. So that to me was like remakes, sequels, anything like that. Because I know one of the big things people always say is like, oh, there's always the trees for the different holidays. Like
that's something you said. I thought.
What are you talking about?
I don't think I thought
you never heard somebody say that.
No, I've never heard anyone say that, but you.
I feel like I've heard that. I've heard that mentioned outside of me. If I'm the one that said it, I'd be shocked. But I mean, that is something that I think you see all these different holidays. You can make a Nightmare Before everything.
Nightmare Before Thanksgiving.
You could Nightmare Before Thanksgiving. Nightmare, before
Easter, because that was
before Easter, before Valentine's Day. Yeah. But anyway, Burton was quoted saying in this interview, "To me, the movie is very important. I've done sequels, I've done other things, I've done reboots, I've done all that shit, right? I don't want that to happen to this. It's nice that people are maybe interested in another one, but I'm not. I feel like the old guy who owns a little piece of property who won't sell to the big power plant that wants to take my land."
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, I think he's right. I think this is something that, you just don't touch.
You don't touch. It's special as is.
It's super special. It's so unique. And it's a timeless piece of cinema, right? Because it being created in that like stop motion format, like there's not, to me, it's timeless in the sense of if you watched it right now, you couldn't really tell that it couldn't have been made today.
Yeah. With
how the artistic style, the presentation, they released a 4K version now. Mm-hmm. Like for all intents and purposes, if you watch this film, it's like, oh, this probably could have been made anytime.
Yeah.
Because of how it's presented and the style and the creativity. So like when something like that is created in a timeless sense, you don't really got to do nothing else to it.
Yeah.
It's like music, right? Like you take, any type of classic music, you listen to it today, you're like, damn, it still sound good.
That's like you with your Sade album.
Yeah, it still sounds good. No one needs to like, I'm gonna redo this song, I'm gonna sample it or whatever. Just like leave it how it is. So it's just like this film. It's a timeless piece of cinema. It doesn't need anything else. Now, I will say that, like, I think it would have been fun to see some sort of spin-off type of stuff. And like the holiday stuff. Like,
okay.
You know, like you mentioned, I was talking about the other trees. I think it'd be kind of cool to see some stuff like that. But I get the point of not wanting to touch that property any further than what we already got.
I think I agree with him.
Yeah.
It just needs to, everything don't need to be remade.
Right.
And we say that all the time because that's right now, everybody want to remake everything.
Yeah.
And in this case, I have to agree with him. Like, just let it be.
Yeah, just let it be.
Yeah.
Because like, and kind of going back to what I was saying, I feel like the only time something actually needs to be remade is if during the time that it was made, the technology wasn't there to be able to fully realize the vision of what they're trying to create. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's the only circumstances where it's like, okay, let's remake this because I think we can really take this to the next level.
Yeah. Because
they couldn't exactly do what they were trying to do. They didn't, the technology, you know, couldn't meet the vision. You know what I'm saying? So now we can actually, you know, create use the computer graphics to create XYZ or, you know, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. Like, I don't think it needs to be touched. Y'all, let us know what y'all think down in the comments below. If you think that, you know, do you agree with Burton? You don't need to do any other films of any kind, no spinoffs, no sequels, no remakes or anything at all? Or do you think that maybe there's room to do something? It doesn't have to be a remake, but even like a spinoff side film, sequel, or something like that. Let us know down in the comments below. Well, that concludes this end of the week horror news update, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to this video or this audio podcast, depending on how you're listening or watching it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff, support us, and we appreciate y'all. We appreciate the support. We're filming this on Thanksgiving night, so if you do celebrate Thanksgiving, we hope that you had a great Thanksgiving yesterday. And if you're out shopping on Black Friday or this weekend, be safe out there, especially, you know, after watching the Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah, be careful.
Shit can get crazy, y'all, so just be safe, be careful. And again, we are grateful and thankful for y'all, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.